Welcome back, everyone, and I just want to remind you to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and follow the Kickstarter pre-campaign. We're at 30 followers on the pre-campaign, and we need to get that number up. Thank you, and on to the video. So in last month's developer diary, I mentioned that development of the game was going to begin again, and that I would create a media presence for Lorcan. Well, August was a great success, and both of those goals were met. Every Saturday on twitch.tv/hillcrestgames, I've been streaming development of the game and engaging with the fans. It's been great fun, and the feedback is incredibly useful.
He's gonna be like Leia from Star Wars.
Beautiful. I've also been giving the game a social media presence, so feel free to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Lots of fun tidbits will pop up in these feeds. Now, with all that said, let's get into what's new with the development of the game. Aside from some work on the game's early cutscenes, I've also blocked out the opening tutorial area of the first level of the demo. More decoration and polish to this area is coming soon. More significantly though, I've begun recreating all of Lorcan's animations from scratch. This has been a huge undertaking, and I'm not primarily an animator by any means, but I think the results are an improvement, and I think that this is only a first pass and things are just only going to get better from here. His running animation is a little bit less like Mario 64 than it was before. It's not quite as wacky and flailing as it was. His jump animation is recreated and has a bit more life and cartoonish flair to it. His crouch animation is a lot more unique and exciting than the old one. And his long jump animation was remade in tandem with this crouch animation for continuity. The backflip and skid jump animations are much tighter and more acrobatic than they were before. The bounce animation is a much more exciting flip now. The ledge shimmying animations have also been recreated, which brings us into some of the new mechanics that I've been working on. Mechanically, I've been focusing on increasing Lorcan's parkour abilities. So in addition to the ledge shimmying, Lorcan can now reach backwards across from a ledge that he's hanging from, and he can jump in that direction. This might remind you of a certain treasure hunting acrobat. After the new ledge mechanics, it was time to look at something that I got a lot of complaints about in the old demo, the pole climbing. Some bugs were fixed so that you could climb poles of varying sizes and he would always be in the correct position when climbing that pole. The ability to climb and jump off of moving poles was also added. That's not the end of the new pole mechanics, but that's all that we got in August. Next, it was time to improve wall jumps. You used to get stuck to the wall and enter a wall slide animation while you were in the upwards direction of your jump arc, and that's just not good. It was particularly noticeable when you're on bounce pads pressing into a wall, so that had to be fixed first. And along with that came a more refined and more vertical wall jump arc. But that wasn't quite enough for the wall slides and wall jumps. Part of what I was adding this month and next month is more uses for the action button. And the first implementation of this is the wall climb mechanic. So much like how it is when you are in the air and you can perform a spin jump, there is a one-time use that recharges when you land on the ground, and that is called the wall climb. When you're pressing up against a wall and you hit the action button, you can perform this wall climb. This allows for more varied maneuverability and is just simply kind of giving more choices to the player when they want to reach a higher place. You can see a few ways that this can be used just to make traversal more fun and less of a chore in certain situations. You can also see this advanced situation where Lorcan long jumps into the wall and immediately wall climbs up to a ledge, which would not be possible without this new ability. Once that was complete, it was time to experiment with ways to change and improve the Stomp ability. The first thing I tried was to experiment with a much more complex set of moves called the Lorcan kick. Lorcan could kick by pressing the crouch button while in the air. If you held no direction, he would kick directly downwards, but if you held a direction, he would diagonally kick downwards. But ultimately, the Lorcan kick increased the level of complexity with the pound maneuver, and I just felt that it wasn't useful to the bigger picture of the game. The pound is sort of a safety maneuver, and requiring the player to release the directional input in order to pound downwards was just not a compromise that I could make. So eventually, I landed on the new spring stomp mechanic. Lorcan now stomps downwards with his feet. It has a little bit of a different look and a different feel from the rump thump in the old demo. Upon landing, he folds up like an accordion, at which point you can press the jump button, which will trigger the all-new spring jump. My favorite aspect of the spring jump is that it aligns you with the angle of the ground, so you can diagonally spring jump off of slopes. Make sure to check out the Steam highlight reel for August to see even more of what was accomplished this past month. Moving forward, I'm continuing to refine the parkour mechanics and building a large complex level to test out all these new in-depth mechanics. I'm also planning on doing a second pass on all these new animations and cleaning them up a little bit. Pop into the Saturday streams and say hello, and you can see how progress on all of these new features is coming along. Anyways, that just about sums up the month of August. I'm so excited about the trajectory that the game's development is on, and I thank you all for your continued support and interest in the game. Hillcrest Games signing out. See you next time.